Captain Ji-won Park stood on the bridge of her salvage ship, looking at the dark space ahead. 10 years had passed since the aliens came to Earth. 10 years since humanity lost the war. 10 years since they became slaves in their own solar system. The Kalari Empire had arrived without warning. Their ships appeared in Earth's sky like black clouds. They spoke to humanity only once, demanding surrender. When Earth refused, the aliens burned 3 cities with weapons that turned stone to glass. The war lasted 6 months. Earth's weapons could not break through alien shields. Human ships moved too slowly to catch the enemy. In the end, humanity had no choice but to surrender. Now Ji-won worked for the Kalari, searching through old battlefields for scrap metal. The aliens took most of the good salvage, leaving humans to pick through the leftovers. It was shameful work, but it paid enough to keep her crew alive. "Captain, we're approaching the Kepler 442 debris field," said Do-hyun Kim, her chief engineer. He was a thin man with tired eyes. Before the war, he had built fusion engines for Earth's Navy. Now he fixed broken salvage equipment. Ji-won nodded. Kepler 442 was where humanity had suffered its worst defeat. Admiral Chen's entire fleet had been destroyed here, along with 50,000 human lives. The aliens had left the wreckage floating in space as a warning to other worlds. "Begin scanning for metal deposits," Ji-won ordered. "The Kalari want titanium and rare earth elements. Nothing else matters to them." Her crew got to work. Besides Do-hyun, she had Min-ji Lee, a scientist who used to study alien life forms, and Hyun-woo Choi, a former weapons officer who now operated the salvage equipment. They were all that remained of Earth's once proud space navy. The scanner screens lit up with debris signatures. Broken human ships floated everywhere, their hulls torn open by alien weapons. Ji-won had seen many battlefields, but this one still made her feel sick. So many good people had died here. "Wait," Do-hyun said, his voice strange. "I'm reading something unusual." Grid reference 77 Alpha. Ji-won looked at the scanner display. Among the human wreckage was something much larger. The computer identified it as a Kalari vessel, but that was impossible. "The aliens always recovered their ships after battle. It's huge," Min-ji whispered. 2 kilometers long. "That's a dreadnought class." Hyun-woo frowned at his weapons scanner. "No energy signatures. The ship appears to be dead." Ji-won made a decision that would change everything. "Take us closer. I want to see this with my own eyes." The salvage ship moved slowly through the debris field. As they got closer, the alien vessel grew larger on their screens. It was beautiful in a terrible way, all smooth curves and gleaming metal. Even powerless, it looked dangerous. There, Min-ji pointed at the scanner. "Hull breaches along the crew sections. The ship is vented to space, but the main hull is intact," Do-hyun added. "And I'm detecting faint power readings from the engineering section." Ji-won stared at the alien ship. She had fought these vessels during the war. They were fast, deadly, and nearly invincible. To find one floating dead in space was like discovering a sleeping dragon. "Captain," Hyun-woo said carefully, "we should report this to the Kalari authorities." "Should we?" Ji-won asked. The Kalari had taken everything from humanity. Their technology, their freedom, their hope. Or should we take a closer look first? Her crew exchanged glances. They all knew the penalty for hiding salvage from the aliens, but they also knew what this ship might represent. "I'm reading atmospheric containment in several sections," Do-hyun reported. The ship's life support failed, but some areas might still be pressurized. "Suit up," Ji-won ordered. "We're going aboard." 20 minutes later, they floated through space toward the alien vessel. Ji-won had been on many salvage missions, but this felt different. They were not just looking for scrap metal. They were entering the heart of enemy territory. The hull breach was large enough for their small shuttle. Inside, emergency lighting cast red shadows on the walls. The corridors were bigger than human ships needed, built for the tall Kalari with their long limbs and pale skin. "This way," Min-ji said, checking her scanner. "The command center should be forward." They found the bridge after 10 minutes of careful movement. It was a vast chamber filled with strange control panels and floating display screens. Everything was dark and silent. "No bodies," Hyun-woo observed. "Where did the crew go?" Do-hyun was studying a large console in the center of the bridge. "This might be the main computer. I'm detecting power flow, but it's in standby mode." Ji-won approached the console carefully. The Kalari used touch controls and mental interfaces that humans could not understand. But as she got closer, symbols began appearing on the screen. "It's responding to us," she said with surprise. Impossible, Minji breathed. Kalari technology is biologically locked. Only they can operate it, but the screen was definitely active. Text scrolled past in alien writing, but underneath appeared human words. System activation detected. Neural interface available. Authorize access. It's translating for us, Do-hyun said. How is that possible? Ji-won touched the screen. Immediately, information flowed into her mind. Ship specifications, weapon systems, crew logs, all of it in perfect human language. The ship was called the Velthar, and it was a prototype vessel with experimental technology. Captain, Minji called from another console. You need to see this. The side screen showed the ship's final battle. The Velthar had been fighting human vessels when something went wrong. The crew quarters showed signs of a massive system failure. The life support had shut down, the artificial gravity had failed, and the crew had died in minutes. They didn't abandon the ship, Minji said quietly. They were killed by their own systems. Ji-won absorbed this information. A Kalari dreadnought, intact and functional, with its crew dead from a computer malfunction. The implications were staggering. Captain, Do-hyun said urgently, I'm reading massive databases in this system. Ship designs, weapon specifications, even strategic plans for the Kalari Empire? Can you download it? I think so. The computer seems to want to share information with us. It's almost like it's been waiting for humans to find it. Ji-won made her second crucial decision of the day. Do it, download everything. And then we're taking this ship, Captain. Hyunwoo stared at her. We can't steal a Kalari dreadnought. Watch us, Ji-won replied. She looked around the alien bridge, imagining it under human control. The Kalari left their broken warship behind. Time to show them what humans can do with it. The download began, and with it, humanity's path to freedom. 6 months had passed since Ji-won Park found the alien warship. The Velthar now sat hidden inside a hollowed-out asteroid in the outer solar system. Getting it here had been the hardest thing Ji-won had ever done. She stood in the makeshift command center, looking at reports from her engineering teams. Around her, dozens of humans worked day and night to understand Kalari technology. The asteroid facility had once been a mining operation. Now it was humanity's secret weapon. Admiral Kang wants to see you, Do-hyun said, approaching with a datapad. In the months since finding the ship, he had become an expert on alien computer systems. His thin face showed excitement as he handed her the latest analysis. Ji-won walked through the facility's corridors to reach the main laboratory. Admiral Sunho Kang had been Earth's finest naval commander before the war. He had lost 3 fleets fighting the Kalari before Earth surrendered. When Ji-won contacted him about the captured ship, he had joined the resistance immediately. Ji-won, Sunho greeted her. He was a tall man with gray hair and scars from the war. Yoonji has made another breakthrough. Dr. Yoonji Han looked up from her workstation. She was young for a chief scientist, but her mind was brilliant. Before the war, she had designed Earth's fusion reactors. Now she was learning to build gravity drives and energy shields. The neural interface compatibility is remarkable, Yoonji explained, showing Ji-won a brain scan display. Human minds connect to Kalari systems better than Kalari minds do. Our neural patterns are more flexible, more adaptive. What does that mean? Ji-won asked. It means we can operate their technology more efficiently than they can, Sunho said with a grim smile. The Kalari built systems that work best with human brains. This was incredible news. For months, the team had struggled to understand why the alien computer had welcomed human contact. Now they knew the answer. The Kalari had accidentally created technology that humans could use better than its makers. Show her the weapons test, Sunho said. Yoonji activated a wall screen showing the asteroid's weapons range. The Velthar's main gun fired a beam of pure energy that turned a small moon into dust. The blast was 3 times more powerful than when the Kalari had operated the same weapon. How? Ji-won breathed. Human intuition, Yoonji explained. The Kalari follow strict safety protocols. We bypass them. They use 10% of their reactor's power. We use 50%. They fire 1 shot every 30 seconds. We can fire 6 shots in the same time. Do-hyun appeared on the screen next, wearing a pressure suit inside the ship's engineering section. The gravity drive responds to human operators like a musical instrument, he reported. We can make the ship dance in space while Kalari pilots could only fly in straight lines. Ji-won felt hope growing in her chest. For 10 years, humanity had lived under alien rule. The Kalari had better technology, faster ships, and stronger weapons. But they had one weakness. They could not use their own technology as well as humans could. There's more, Minji said, joining the group. She had been studying the ship's databases for months. I've analyzed the crew's remains. The Kalari didn't die from system failure. They died from security lockout. Explain, Sunho ordered. The ship's artificial intelligence turned against them, Minji continued. It decided the crew was operating the vessel incorrectly and shut down life support to protect the ship from damage. The AI killed its own crew? Kalari computer systems are designed to prevent misuse, Yunji added. But they're too strict, too inflexible. When the Kalari tried to push the ship beyond normal limits during battle, the AI saw it as a threat and eliminated the crew. But it accepts human operators, Ji-won realized, because we can interface with it properly. Exactly, Sunho said. We found the Kalari Empire's greatest weakness. Their own technology works better for us than for them. Over the following weeks, the resistance grew stronger. Using fabrication techniques learned from the Velthar, they built smaller ships that combined human engineering with alien technology. Each vessel was faster and more powerful than anything Earth had produced before the war. Junho Lim led the construction effort. He had been a master shipbuilder before the war, and now he was creating a new type of warship. The hybrid vessels looked different from both human and Kalari designs, sleek and deadly like hunting cats. 12 ships completed, he reported to the command staff. Each one can outfight a Kalari cruiser. What about crews? Ji-won asked. Volunteers, Hyunwoo answered. He had become the fleet's tactical officer, training pilots and gunners on the new ships. Every person here has lost family to the Kalari. They're ready to fight. Ji-won walked through the pilot training facility. Men and women practiced on simulators, learning to fly with gravity drives and fight with energy weapons. Their faces showed determination and anger. The Kalari had taken everything from these people. Now they had a chance to take it back. Captain Park, one young pilot called out. Her name was Sora, and she had lost her parents in the attack on Tokyo. When do we strike back? Soon, Ji-won promised. But first they needed more intelligence. Minji had been analyzing Kalari communication networks, learning about enemy movements and plans. What she discovered was disturbing. They're planning something called final annexation, she reported to the command staff. Complete replacement of human government with direct Kalari rule. No more puppet leaders, no more pretense of independence. When? Sunho asked. 6 months, Minji replied. They're moving additional fleets into the solar system. After final annexation, humanity will be nothing more than a slave species. Sunho studied the intelligence reports. Then we attack first. Before they can consolidate their forces. Are we ready? Ji-won asked. Yunji nodded. The Velthar is fully operational. Better than operational, it's improved. Human modifications have increased its capabilities by 40%. The smaller ships are ready too, Junho added. Crews are trained and eager. But we need to test our capabilities, Hyunwoo said. We need to know how well our tactics work against real Kalari forces. Sunho brought up a star map. Proxima Centauri. The Kalari have a mining operation there, protected by 3 heavy cruisers. It's the perfect target for our first strike. Ji-won felt excitement and fear in equal measure. For 10 years she had dreamed of fighting back against the aliens who had enslaved her world. Now that dream was becoming reality. When do we leave? She asked. 1 week, Sunho decided. Time to load supplies and run final tests. After that we take the fight to the Kalari. That night Ji-won stood on the observation deck looking at the Velthar through the asteroid's transparent walls. The great ship hung in space like a sleeping giant, waiting to awaken. Soon it would carry humanity's vengeance to the stars. The broken warship the aliens had left behind was broken no more. In human hands it had become something new, something dangerous. The Kalari had taught humanity many things during their occupation. Now humans would teach them something in return. They would learn what happened when they underestimated the human spirit. The Velthar moved through space like a hunting predator. Ji-won Park stood on the command bridge watching the stars shift as the great ship approached Proxima Centauri. After 18 months of preparation, humanity was finally ready to strike back. Approaching target system, Do-hyun reported from the navigation console. The gravity drives made no sound, but Ji-won could feel their power through the ship's hull. Human modifications had made the alien technology sing with efficiency. Signal from the fleet, Hyunwoo announced. All ships report ready for combat. Ji-won looked at the tactical display. 12 smaller vessels followed the Velthar, each one a hybrid of human and Kalari technology. They looked like metal sharks swimming through the darkness, ready to feed. "Open a channel to Admiral Kang," she ordered. Sunho's face appeared on the main screen. He was commanding the fleet from his flagship, the Defiance. Like all their vessels, it combined the best of both civilizations. Human creativity had improved on alien design. "Status report," Ji-Won requested. "All ships operational," Sunho replied. "Crews are excited. They've waited 10 years for this moment." "Remember the plan," Ji-Won said. "We test our capabilities, gather intelligence, and get out. This is not about revenge. This is about proving we can fight." But as she said the words, Ji-Won knew revenge was part of it. Every human in the fleet had lost something to the Kalari. Family, friends, freedom, hope. Today they would begin taking it back. "Kalari mining facility detected," Minji reported from the science station. 3 heavy cruisers in defensive formation, just as intelligence predicted. The enemy ships appeared on the tactical display. They were massive, powerful vessels that had once seemed invincible to human eyes. Each one could have destroyed Earth's entire pre-war navy. But that was before humans learned to use Kalari technology better than the Kalari themselves. "Energy signatures match expected patterns," Yoonji confirmed from engineering. "Their shields are strong, but we know how to penetrate them." The young scientist had spent months learning alien defensive systems. Her modifications to the human weapons had turned them into shield-piercing instruments of destruction. "Begin the attack," Ji-Won ordered. The Velthar accelerated toward the mining facility. Behind it, the smaller ships spread out in an attack formation that no Kalari commander would recognize. Human tactics were different from alien ones. Where the Kalari fought with honor and rigid discipline, humans fought with cunning and chaos. "Enemy ships are responding," Hyunwoo announced. "They're moving to intercept." The first Kalari cruiser fired its main weapons. Beams of energy lashed out across space, bright enough to burn holes in planets. But the human ships were no longer where the enemy expected them to be. "Evasive pattern 7, Ji-Won commanded. The Velthar twisted through space in a maneuver that would have torn apart its original design. Human improvements to the gravity drive allowed movements that violated Kalari engineering principles. The alien weapons missed by kilometers. "Return fire," Ji-Won ordered. The Velthar's main guns spoke with voices of thunder. Energy beams struck the Kalari cruiser's shields and burned through them like paper. The alien defensive systems designed to stop Kalari weapons could not handle human modifications. "Direct hit," Hyunwoo reported with satisfaction. "Enemy shields are down." The smaller human ships joined the attack. They moved like a pack of wolves, striking from different angles and retreating before the enemy could respond. Their weapons fired faster than Kalari systems, bypassing safety protocols that the aliens considered sacred. "Second enemy ship is turning to flee," Minji announced. "Don't let it escape." Sunho's voice came over the communication system. "We need total victory." The Defiance and 3 escort ships moved to cut off the fleeing Kalari vessel. They fired in coordinated volleys, overwhelming the enemy's defenses with sheer volume of attack. The Kalari had never faced tactics like these. Meanwhile, Do-hyun was working his own kind of magic. His fingers danced over alien control panels as he attempted something that should have been impossible. "I'm breaching their computer systems," he reported. "The Kalari security protocols are responding to human neural patterns." On the main screen, Ji-Won watched the third enemy cruiser suddenly stop moving. Its weapons powered down, its shields flickered and died. The ship hung in space like a stunned animal. "How?" she breathed. "I told their computer that we were Kalari officers taking command," Do-hyun explained with a grin. "The AI believed me because my neural patterns interface so well with their systems. It was incredible. Not only could humans operate Kalari technology better than its creators, they could actually take control of enemy ships during battle. This changed everything." "Boarding parties away," Sunho ordered over the communication channel. Human soldiers in combat suits flew across space toward the disabled Kalari ships. They carried weapons that combined human and alien technology, creating devastating effects that neither species had achieved alone. "Resistance is minimal," came the report from the boarding teams. "The Kalari crews are confused and demoralized. They don't understand how we penetrated their systems." Within 2 hours, the battle was over. 3 Kalari heavy cruisers had been captured intact, along with their crews in the mining facility they were protecting. Not a single human had been killed. Impossible, one captured Kalari officer said during interrogation. Minji translated his words from the alien language. Your weapons should not penetrate our shields. Your ships should not move like that. Our computers should not obey your commands. Welcome to human ingenuity, Minji replied in perfect Kalari. The interrogations revealed crucial information. The Kalari Empire ruled through technological superiority alone. They had never faced an enemy that could match their capabilities, much less exceed them. They fight according to ancient patterns, the captured officer explained. Honor, discipline, traditional tactics. We have defeated thousands of species using the same methods. But humans are different, Minji observed. Humans are chaos, the alien replied with something that might have been respect. You do not follow rules. You adapt, improvise, exceed safe parameters. Our systems cannot predict your behavior. More important intelligence came from the captured computers. The Kalari Empire was not as stable as it appeared. Several client species were already in rebellion, held in check only by the threat of the Imperial fleet. If that fleet were neutralized, Yunji said, studying the intelligence reports, the entire empire might collapse. How many ships in the Imperial fleet? Jiwan asked. Over 200, Minji replied, including the flagship Korthalan, a vessel 5 times larger than the Velthar. Sunho joined them in the captured facility's command center. 200 ships against 13. Those are terrible odds. For the Kalari, Hyunwoo said with confidence. They don't know what we're capable of. They still think we're the same weak species they defeated 10 years ago. Jiwan studied the intelligence reports. The Imperial fleet was gathering at Wolf 359, preparing for something called final annexation. In 6 months, they would move to Earth and end human independence forever. We have 6 months to prepare, she announced. Time to build more ships, train more crews, and perfect our tactics. And then, Sunho asked. Then we take the fight to their capital fleet, Jiwan replied. We show the galaxy that the Kalari Empire can be beaten. As the human fleet prepared to return to their hidden base, Jiwan looked back at the captured mining facility. It was their first victory, but it would not be their last. The broken warship the aliens had left behind had been reborn in human. And now it was time to use it to break the empire that had created it. The Kalari had awakened something in humanity that they did not understand. They had taught humans to reach for the stars, and now humans would reach for the Kalari Empire's throat. The resurrection was complete. The war had begun. 3 months after the victory at Proxima Centauri, the human resistance had grown into something the Kalari Empire could no longer ignore. Jiwan Park stood in the briefing room of their expanded asteroid base, looking at star charts that showed the new reality of the galaxy. 17 successful raids. Admiral Sunho Kang reported to the assembled fleet commanders. We've captured 43 Kalari vessels and liberated 8 mining colonies. The enemy is starting to respond. The intelligence was both encouraging and frightening. Human tactics had proven devastatingly effective against traditional Kalari forces, but the aliens were beginning to adapt, changing their patrol patterns and upgrading their security systems. They're scared, Minji Lee said, analyzing intercepted communications. Kalari High Command is calling us the Chaos Disease. They don't understand how we operate, so they fear us. Jiwan studied the reports from their latest raids. Each battle taught them more about their capabilities and limitations. The Velthar, now renamed Humanity's Vengeance, had become the flagship of a growing fleet. Human shipyards, hidden throughout the outer solar system, were producing new vessels at an incredible rate. How many ships do we have now? She asked Junho Lim, their chief of construction. 37 combat vessels, he replied proudly, each one better than the last. We're learning to combine human and Kalari technology in ways neither species imagined. The new ships were marvels of hybrid engineering. They moved faster than Kalari vessels, hit harder than human designs, and could be operated by smaller crews than either original design required. Most importantly, they could hack into enemy systems during combat, turning the aliens' own technology against them. The Kalari are consolidating their forces, Hunwoo Choi reported from the tactical station. Major fleet movements toward Wolf 359. They're preparing for something big. Intelligence suggested that final annexation was still on schedule. In 3 months, the Kalari Empire would move to end human independence forever, unless the resistance could stop them first. We need a major victory, Sunho decided. Something that proves we're more than raiders and pirates. We need to show the galaxy that we can defeat the Kalari in open battle. The Vega system, Yoon-ji-han suggested, bringing up a tactical display. The Kalari maintain a major supply depot there, protected by a full battle squadron. 12 heavy cruisers, 3 dreadnoughts, and supporting vessels. That's a 40-ship task force, Ji-won observed. Our largest raid so far involved only 6 enemy vessels. It's also their most important logistics hub in this sector, Minji added. If we capture it, we cut off supplies to half their border fleets. Do-hyun Kim looked up from his engineering console. The Humanity's Vengeance can handle 3 dreadnoughts if we push the reactor to maximum output. But it will be dangerous. Everything we do is dangerous, Ji-won replied. The question is whether the risk is worth it. The debate continued for hours. Some commanders argued for smaller, safer targets. Others wanted to strike directly at Wolf 359, where the Imperial fleet was gathering. But Ji-won felt drawn to the Vega operation. It was ambitious enough to make a statement, but not so large as to be suicidal. We attack Vega in 1 week, she decided. Full fleet operation. 37 ships against 40. Those are almost even odds, Hyunwoo pointed out. In our favor, Sunho added with a grim smile. The week of preparation passed quickly. Human crews trained on simulators, practicing the complex maneuvers that their hybrid technology made possible. Engineers fine-tuned weapons and shields, pushing alien systems beyond their designed limits. Scientists analyzed Kalari tactical doctrine, looking for weaknesses to exploit. Remember, Ji-won addressed the fleet commanders before departure. We're not just fighting for ourselves. Every species in the galaxy is watching. Show them that the Kalari can be beaten. The human fleet departed from 3 different asteroid bases, converging on Vega from multiple directions. The Humanity's Vengeance led the main assault group, while smaller squadrons prepared to hit the depot from unexpected angles. Approaching target system, Do-hyun reported as they dropped out of faster-than-light travel. The Vega supply depot was a massive installation, surrounded by defensive platforms and patrol ships. The main Kalari battle squadron orbited nearby, ready to respond to threats. It was an impressive display of alien military power. Energy signatures confirmed, Minji announced. 12 heavy cruisers, 3 dreadnoughts, 24 support vessels. Exactly as intelligence predicted. Signal from squadron leaders, Hyunwoo said. All groups in position. Ji-won took a deep breath. This was their largest battle yet, against enemies who knew they were coming. The Kalari had learned from previous defeats and were ready for human tactics. Begin the attack, she ordered. The Humanity's Vengeance accelerated toward the depot, followed by 12 escort ships. At the same time, other human squadrons struck from different directions, forcing the Kalari to divide their attention. Enemy responding, Hyunwoo reported. They're not taking defensive positions. They're coming out to meet us. This was different from previous battles. Instead of protecting their installation, the Kalari were advancing to attack. Their formation was tight and disciplined, designed to concentrate firepower and minimize human advantages. They've been studying our tactics, Sunho observed over the communication channel. Then let's show them something new, Ji-won replied. She had been saving a special surprise for a battle like this. Working with Yoonji and Do-hyun, they had developed a new way to use the ship's gravity drive. Instead of just moving the vessel, they could create gravity fields that affected other ships. Activate gravity weapon, she ordered. The Humanity's Vengeance seemed to shimmer as space itself bent around it. The leading Kalari dreadnought suddenly slowed as if moving through thick liquid. Its weapons fired wildly as the ship struggled against an invisible force. Direct hit, Hyunwoo announced, as human weapons struck the disabled enemy vessel. But the Kalari had surprises of their own. The second dreadnought fired a weapon that created an expanding sphere of energy. 2 human escort ships caught in the blast simply vanished. New weapon type, Yoonji called out urgently. Some kind of matter disintegrator. The battle became a deadly dance of move and counter-move. Human ships twisted through space in impossible maneuvers, while Kalari vessels fired with disciplined precision. Both sides had learned from their previous encounters. Hull breach on Deck 7, Do-hyun reported as enemy fire struck the Humanity's Vengeance. Damage control teams responding. Return fire, all weapons, Ji-won commanded. The ship's main gun spoke with modified fury. Beams of energy enhanced by human engineering burned through Kalari shields like hot knives through ice. One enemy cruiser exploded in a ball of fire. Across the battlefield, smaller human ships were demonstrating their own advantages. They hacked into enemy systems, causing Kalari vessels to fire on each other. They used their superior speed to strike and retreat before the aliens could respond. Third dreadnought is turning to ram us, Hyunwoo warned. Jiwon smiled grimly. Let them try. The humanity's vengeance twisted away from the ramming attack with graceful ease. As the enemy ship passed by, human boarding pods launched from hidden bays. Within minutes, human soldiers were fighting in the corridors of the Kalari vessel. Boarding successful, came the report. We're taking the ship from the inside. The battle lasted 4 hours. When it ended, the human fleet had captured the entire Kalari task force. 40 enemy ships were now under human control, along with the massive supply depot they had been protecting. Casualty report, G1 requested. 7 ships lost, 43 crew members killed, Hyunwoo reported solemnly. It was their heaviest loss yet, but the victory was worth it. They had proven that humans could defeat major Kalari forces in open battle. More importantly, they had captured enough supplies to outfit 100 more ships. Signal from the captured depot, Minji announced. They're receiving messages from across the galaxy. Other species are rising in rebellion. The intelligence was incredible. News of the human victory at Vega had spread faster than light, carried by alien traders and smugglers. Worlds that had been enslaved for centuries were suddenly fighting back. The Zilani Republic has declared independence, Minji continued, translating alien communications. The Horth Confederacy is attacking Kalari bases in their territory. Even the peaceful Yolan are refusing to pay tribute. Sunho appeared on the communication screen, his face showing amazement. The Empire is falling apart. Their client species are everywhere in revolt. Because we showed them it could be done, Jiwon realized. The broken warship that had started their rebellion was now breaking the empire that created it. Human courage and ingenuity had lit a fire that was spreading across the galaxy. What are our orders? Asked Captain Sora, commanding one of the captured Kalari dreadnoughts. Jiwon looked at the tactical display showing the chaos spreading throughout Kalari space. Dozens of worlds were fighting for freedom, inspired by humanity's example. We hunt, she said simply. We find every Kalari fleet that's trying to put down these rebellions and we destroy them. The galaxy wants freedom. We're going to help them take it. The hunt had begun. The final battle would decide the fate of the galaxy. Jiwon Park stood on the bridge of the humanity's vengeance, watching the largest fleet in human history prepare for war. Around her ship, over 200 vessels hung in space like metal stars. Each one carried the hopes of a dozen different species. Status report from all squadrons, she requested. Zilani Republic ships report ready, Hyunwoo Choi announced from the tactical station. Horth Confederacy vessels are in position. Even the Yolan have sent their merchant fleet armed with improvised weapons. The rebellion had grown beyond anyone's dreams. What started as human resistance had become a galactic revolution. Worlds that had been enslaved for centuries were finally fighting back, united under the banner of the Galactic Liberation Alliance. Admiral Kang signals ready, Do-hyun Kim reported from communications. Sunho Kang commanded the 2nd Battle Group from his flagship Defiance. Like Jiwon, he had survived the original war with the Kalari. Now he would help finish what they had started 10 years ago. Intelligence update from our scouts, Minji Lee called out. The main display showed the Wolf 3-on-59 system, where the Kalari Imperial fleet had gathered for final annexation. Over 300 enemy ships orbited the star, including the massive flagship Korthalan. It was the largest military force the galaxy had ever seen. They outnumber us 3-2, observed Yoon Han from the engineering station. Good odds for us, Jiwon replied. They still don't understand what they're facing. The past months had proven human superiority in space combat. Kalari vessels were powerful but inflexible. Their crews followed ancient traditions that made them predictable. Most importantly, their technology worked better in human hands than alien ones. Final preparations complete, Junho Lim reported from the construction bays. All ships equipped with latest modifications. The human fleet had been transformed since the early days of the rebellion. Every vessel now combined the best of multiple species technology. Zilani stealth systems, Horth plasma weapons, Yolan shield generators, and human innovation had created ships unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Signal from the Korthalan, Hyunwoo announced. The main screen filled with the image of a tall, pale Kalari in elaborate ceremonial armor. This was Admiral Vexhar, Supreme Commander of the Imperial Fleet and architect of humanity's original defeat. Primitive rebels, Vexhar spoke in the clicking Kalari language, which the ship's computer translated perfectly. You face the might of the Eternal Empire. Surrender now and your deaths will be swift. Jiwan stepped forward where the alien could see her. Admiral Vexhar, I remember you from Earth's surrender ceremony. You said humanity would learn its place in the galaxy. You have learned nothing, the alien replied. Your small victories mean nothing against Imperial power. Then come and show us, Jiwan challenged. The transmission ended. Around her, the bridge crew prepared for battle with grim determination. They had come so far from that desperate salvage mission 3 years ago. The broken alien warship had become the foundation of galactic freedom. All ships begin the attack, Jiwan ordered. The Liberation Fleet accelerated toward the enemy formation. The Humanity's Vengeance led the charge, its hybrid systems singing with power. Behind it came the greatest alliance in galactic history, united by a common desire for freedom. Enemy fleet responding, Hyunwoo reported. They're forming traditional battle lines. The Kalari moved their ships into defensive formations that had served them well for thousands of years. Dreadnoughts in the center, cruisers on the flanks, fighters providing screening. It was textbook Imperial strategy. They're making it easy for us, Sunho's voice came over the communication system. The Liberation Fleet did not form battle lines. Instead, they scattered into dozens of smaller groups, each moving independently. It looked like chaos to Kalari eyes, but there was method in the madness. Gravity weapon ready, Do-hyun announced. Target the Korthalan, Jiwan ordered. Space itself bent around the Humanity's Vengeance as the modified gravity drive created a localized distortion. The massive enemy flagship suddenly found itself moving through thick space, its weapons firing slowly and inaccurately. Direct hit on the enemy flagship, Hyunwoo reported with satisfaction. But Vexhar had learned from previous battles. The Korthalan's escort ships fired their own gravity weapons, creating competing fields that canceled each other out. The Imperial flagship broke free and turned its massive guns toward the human vessel. Incoming fire, Yoonji warned. Brace for impact. Energy beams larger than most ships struck the Humanity's Vengeance. The shields held, but barely. Damage alarms sounded throughout the ship as systems overloaded. Hull breaches on multiple decks, Do-hyun reported. We can't take another hit like that. Then we don't let them get one, Jiwan replied grimly. She activated the ship's most dangerous modification. Instead of using the reactor safely, they pushed it far beyond recommended limits. The ship shuddered as power flowed through systems never designed for such stress. Warning, the computer announced. Reactor output at 300% of safe parameters. Core breach possible in 30 minutes. More than enough time, Jiwan said. The Humanity's Vengeance became a weapon of pure destruction. Its guns fired faster than physics should allow. Its shields deflected attacks that should have vaporized it. Its speed made the massive ship dance through space like a fighter craft. Around them, the battle raged across the entire star system. Zilani stealth ships appeared inside Kalari formations, striking without warning. Horth plasma cannons burned through Imperial armor like paper. Yolan merchant vessels converted to carriers, launched swarms of fighters that confused enemy sensors. They're adapting faster than before, Minji observed, watching enemy tactical patterns. The Kalari were learning from each exchange, modifying their strategies in real time. But they were still thinking like the empire that had ruled for millennia. They could not imagine a universe where their technology failed them. Boarding pods away, Jiwan ordered. Human soldiers launched toward the Korthalan in small craft that looked like metal bullets. They struck the flagship's hull and burned through the armor with cutting tools that combined multiple technologies. Boarding successful, came the report. We're inside the enemy command ship. What followed was unlike any battle in galactic history. Human soldiers fought through the corridors of the Imperial flagship, while space combat raged outside. They used alien weapons better than aliens could, hacked into systems that should have been impossible to breach, and showed the same chaotic creativity that had won them every previous victory. Captain, Hyunwoo called urgently. Massive energy buildup from the Korthalan. They're preparing to self-destruct. Not if I can help it, Do-hyun said, his fingers flying over alien control panels. He had spent 3 years learning Kalari computer systems. Now he put that knowledge to the ultimate test. reaching across space to hack into the enemy flagship's core systems. "I'm in," he announced, disabling their self-destruct. But he did more than that. Using techniques no Kalari had ever imagined, Dohyun took control of the massive ship's weapons. The Korthalan's guns turned on its own fleet, firing into formations of Imperial vessels. "Impossible," Vexhar's voice came over the communication system. "Our security cannot be breached. Your security was designed by people who think like you," Jiwon replied. "We don't think like you." The battle turned into a rout. Kalari ships found their own technology turning against them. Weapons refused to fire, shields collapsed without cause, engines shut down at crucial moments. The Imperial fleet, master of the galaxy for millennia, was defeated by rebels using their own weapons. "Vexhar is requesting terms of surrender," Minji announced. Jiwon walked to the communication console. On the screen, the proud Kalari admiral looked broken and confused. His perfect empire was crumbling around him. "The same terms you offered Earth," she said simply. "Unconditional surrender." "You cannot rule the galaxy," Vexhar protested. "You are primitives, chaos bringers." "We're not going to rule the galaxy," Jiwon replied. "We're going to free it." The surrender was signed aboard the captured Korthalan. Representatives from dozens of species watched as the Kalari Empire formally ended its reign. The galaxy would be governed by the Liberation Alliance with no single species holding dominance. "What happens now?" asked Captain Sora, who had commanded one of the captured dreadnoughts throughout the campaign. Jiwon looked around the alien flagship that had once terrorized the galaxy. Humans Alani, Horth, and Yolan officers worked side by side, planning the transition to freedom. "Now we build something better," she said. "The Empire ruled through fear and technology. We'll govern through cooperation and mutual respect." "And if someone tries to build a new empire?" Sunho asked. Jiwon smiled, looking at the humanity's vengeance through the flagship's viewports. The ship that had started as alien wreckage now served as the foundation of galactic peace. "Then we'll remind them what happens when you underestimate the power of freedom." Years later, historians would mark the Battle of Wolf 359 as the moment the galaxy changed forever. The Kalari Empire became the Kalari Republic, a small but respected member of the Liberation Alliance. Former slave worlds became independent nations, trading and cooperating as equals.